people I think they're going to kill me. Okay. I went ahead this week and sent around a life insurance policy of sorts, a package rather, to people that I trust, a package filled with text messages, emails, private communications, videos, and private legal documents. So if anything happens to me, you guys will know exactly who it is that has been making my life a living hell over the past couple of years. Who is a Turning Point USA donor trying to bankrupt me and my family, that are threatening us to sue us. Leave me alone. Let me say what I believe and you say what you believe. Fight fair. Why do you always have to make this threat to bankrupt people? And I want you to know that those people, if anything happens to me, they have my explicit permission to release it all, detonate it all, expose all of these people in politics and in the movement who behave like this behind the scenes. It's necessary.
Told her to stop asking questions. They warned her to stay silent, and when she didn't, the death threats started. Candace Owen, one of the most outspoken voices in American politics, is now at the center of a storm. Not for something she said, but for something she dared to question. Charlie Kirk is dead. The circumstances surrounding his death still murky. But when Owens began to look closer, to speak out, to demand answers, the reaction was immediate and violent. What did she uncover? Why did the mere act of questioning trigger such a terrifying response? And most of all, who benefits from keeping this quiet? This isn't just a political clash. This is a warning about what happens when truth becomes dangerous. At its core, this story isn't just about one death or one woman's courage to speak out. It's about something far bigger. It's about the fragile balance between free speech and personal safety, about the power structures that decide which truths are allowed and which are buried. Is Candace Owens being silenced? Or is this another front in an ongoing culture war where every word is weaponized and every question sparks division? As you watch this story unfold, remember, behind every headline and every viral post, real lives are at stake. Real voices are being drowned out by fear, by fury, or by force. This is not just a controversy. It's a mirror reflecting our society's deepest struggles with truth, power, and justice. So stay with us, drop a prayer for her in the comments below, and please do not forget to share this video with fellow supporter of Candace and other truth seekers. As Candace Owens continued to press for answers, the backlash grew beyond mere criticism. It turned threatening and chillingly personal. According to multiple reports, she began receiving a wave of disturbing messages, death threats, hate-filled warnings, and relentless harassment. These weren't just angry comments or harsh debates. They were targeted attacks designed to intimidate, to silence. The threats escalated quickly within days of her public statements. Private inboxes flooded with messages so violent and disturbing that they prompted concern from friends, colleagues, and legal experts alike. Candace herself addressed the situation publicly, speaking out about the emotional toll. Her voice, usually sharp and unyielding, carried an undercurrent of exhaustion and resolve. Despite the fear, she refused to back down. Whether or not she has pursued legal action remains private. But the reality is clear. The cost of seeking truth in this case has become terrifyingly high. These threats don't just target a single person. They send a message to anyone who dares question the official narrative. To fully grasp the gravity of this situation, experts weigh in, illuminating the complex intersection of politics, online harassment, and free speech. Legal professionals remind us that death threats are criminal offenses, carrying serious consequences. But when these threats play out in the digital realm, enforcement becomes complicated, often leaving victims vulnerable and justice slow. Media analysts highlight a disturbing trend: political discourse increasingly devolving into targeted harassment and online hate. The line between passionate debate and dangerous intimidation is blurring, with real-world consequences. At the same time, constitutional questions arise. How does the First Amendment protect speech? And where does it draw the line when speech becomes a weapon? This case underscores a broader, urgent issue. When political expression leads to threats and violence, how do we protect both free speech and personal safety? The answers aren't simple, but the stakes have never been higher. To understand the weight of this story, you need to understand who these people are and the power they hold. Candace Owens isn't just a political commentator. She's a firebrand, a disruptor. To some, she's a truth teller unafraid to challenge the mainstream. To others, a dangerous voice fueling division. Either way, her presence in American politics is impossible to ignore. She built her platform by pushing back against liberal narratives, against identity politics, against the establishment itself. Millions follow her. Millions fear her. And when she speaks, it echoes far beyond social media. Then there's Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA, a movement that mobilized thousands of young conservatives across the country. He was a rising star of the right, someone who didn't just support the conservative cause, but helped shape it. College campuses, political rallies, media appearances. Charlie was everywhere. Candace and Charlie were ideological allies. They stood on the same stages, fought the same battles. But now, only one of them is alive, and the other is asking questions no one else will. The story begins with a shock that rippled through conservative circles, the sudden and unexpected death of Charlie Kirk. Reports first surfaced a day that left many stunned. Official statements were sparse, details scarce. News outlets confirmed the tragedy, but questions immediately outpaced answers. As the world struggled to process the loss of this influential figure, Candace Owen stepped forward, not with condolences alone, but with a demand for clarity. Her first public comments appeared where she hinted at inconsistencies, raising questions about what truly happened. Her tone was measured, but unmistakably pointed. This was not a moment for silence. What started as cautious speculation quickly ignited a firestorm. Social media exploded, with theories, some rationally, others wild, and Candace's voice grew louder, more insistent, from respectful inquiry. The conversation shifted rapidly and dangerously into controversy. Weeks after the backlash had begun, critics accused her of opportunism. Supporters rallied behind her call for transparency, but somewhere in the middle, the tone darkened. Candace Owens, once seen as a provocative but respected commentator, found herself at the center of something far more volatile. A simple question, what really happened to Charlie Kirk, had turned into a lightning rod for anger, fear, and threats. The story quickly captured the attention of media outlets, some reporting cautiously, others diving headfirst into the storm. Mainstream commentators debated fiercely. Supporters of Candace Owens praised her courage to speak out, while critics accused her of stirring unnecessary drama. Online communities fractured, polarizing into camps that either rallied behind her or condemned her. Social media became a battleground where every post, every tweet was met with fierce support or harsh condemnation. Among Charlie Kirk's closest allies and family, public responses were scarce, perhaps, a reflection of the sensitive nature surrounding his death. But within conservative circles, whispers of frustration and concern echoed. Was this becoming less about truth and more about political spectacle? Platforms themselves responded in kind. Posts were flagged, accounts restricted, conversations silenced under the weight of harassment policies, and yet threats persisted. This digital tug war highlighted a growing tension between free speech and online safety, between accountability and censorship. As the controversy deepened, so did the theories surrounding Charlie Kirk's death and Candace Owens' role in bringing them to light. Candace has publicly suggested that there are unanswered questions, hinting at possible motives and forces working behind the scenes to obscure the truth. Her claims point to a larger narrative, one of power, influence, and control. But it's important to note, many of these claims remain unverified. They're allegations, not proven facts. Across various online communities and forums, speculation runs wild. Some propose conspiracies involving political rivals. Others suggest internal conflicts within conservative movements. These theories are shared with fervor, but without concrete evidence. They remain just that, speculation. At the same time, multiple sources close to the situation have issued denials, pushing back against these narratives and calling for respect and caution. This tangled web of claims and counterclaims leaves the public caught between suspicion and skepticism, searching for clarity amid a fog of uncertainty. Candace Owen's pursuit of answers about Charlie Kirk's death has sparked a storm of controversy and danger. While some facts are clear, much remains unknown and under investigation. What is undeniable is the high cost of speaking out in today's polarized world. We invite you to join the conversation respectfully and thoughtfully. If you found this report insightful, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below, because the truth is still unfolding.